Let's on that because that was another thing too. It was dependent on who I was trying to make proud, right? Or who I was trying to have accept me, right? So like now, it's like if the people that I'm trying to make proud is like, you know, my family and like my teachers or you know, those positive role models, then I'm gonna care about, you know, making sure that I fit the bill for them now, instead of in the past, if it was like how you said, you know, your homies or, you know, you know, whoever it might be, whatever negative peers that I whose opinion I valued, then I was trying to fit that mold. And so now, knowing that it's like you're trying to seek acceptance from other things and other people, it's like, bam, like, okay, now it's this way now, you know?
Yeah, you know what?
I have to be this way.
Sorry, Eric. I just got a message on the chat here. I think my audio might be jacked up right now.
It might be jacked up.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me? Does it sound like? Can you hear me echo? Oh, it went away. Okay, cool.
No.
Cool. I fixed it. All right. I know what the issue was. I just got a confirmation. Sorry about that, Eric. But you know what? At what point, you know, through your journey, did you realize that that's one of the issues that you had? And how did you overcome it?
Like caring about what other people thought and seeking their approval.
Yep.
You know, so like for a long time I held on to I can't let this person down. I gotta be loyal to them and to that, and you know, it was always putting others first, right? Like caring about what they thought and you know, how other people saw me. And so the way that I was able to overcome that was when I started caring about how I saw myself. You know, was I going to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like I'm proud of who I see, you know? Because when I was living that negative lifestyle, that destructive lifestyle, I was caring so much about how other people saw me that when it came to look at myself in the mirror, it was like, man, like really, like, do you really like what you see, you know? And a lot of the times I didn't, you know, there was shame there, you know, and it wasn't until I was able to put myself first and like care about or worry about how I saw myself, how I, you know, portrayed myself, or, you know, what I believed about myself, that I was able to overcome that. Because at the end of the day, I figured, you know, I'm not going to ever be able to make nobody happy or everybody happy. And so it's like, why not start with me? You know, make me happy in the way that I want to be and the way that I want to carry myself. And so it was like, you know, putting myself first and raising my own standards and, you know, being able to appreciate who I saw in the mirror. That I was like, okay, like, I'm not doing this for nobody else. I'm doing it for me. And that's kind of what helped in that, you know, in overcoming that. And aside from that, just, you know, changing my values as well. I valued other things. I started valuing other things. And when I started valuing other things, I started focusing.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And I started seeing myself as something different that shouldn't be trying to impress the next man, especially if they're in a negative lifestyle. Like, I shouldn't care about like what they're up to or seeing, because I'm not pursuing that path anymore, you know? I'm not trying to be a somebody in you know, like, there's always a saying here that says, oh, that fool ain't never been nowhere, you know? And it's like, yeah, I exactly, like, I don't want to know where the hell is where is that, you know? Like, I'm good, you know? So, it's like I stopped caring about, you know, what other people had to say in regards to that. And that was what was fundamental for me to start, you know, being who I was, being myself at the end of the day, caring about what I thought, not so much about
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
impressing the next man, you know.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that when somebody says, "Hey, that fool's never been nowhere," like that's just like a tactic of manipulation. If you really think about it, because like who cares? You know, like where I've been or where I haven't been, or you know, it's like it's not a competition. Like you know who's been to the worstest places. Because some of these places, you know, weren't designed for you to thrive. You know, like if you were up there in solitary confinement, man, it breaks a lot of people because we're not designed, or human beings are not. We're not supposed to be living life in isolation. We're supposed to be around others. We're social.
Yep. I gotta call you back, I think, Jay.
Yep. All right. So, hey, thank you, Angel, for pointing out that I was having some issues with the audio. I didn't realize it, but hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I know exactly what was causing that issue, and I went in and disconnected it. I'm glad that that's what it was, because right now I'm actually having some issues with my computer right now. It's kind of frozen and whatnot. I can't really customize it and whatnot, if that makes any sense. But I'll just go ahead and run it, through this call, and then I guess I'm gonna have to figure out at a later time to figure out what's causing this issue with my computer. The good thing is that I have two computers that I normally stream from. This is the desktop here, so I guess I'll be switching back to my laptop. I'm not sure if you could tell the difference between the audios, and if you guys could tell when I'm streaming from different computers, but the setups are a little bit different. Right there on the screen, if you look at where it says add CollectCallFrom in yellow, that means that I'm on my Mac. All right.
This call is now being recorded.
Este es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Eric Fuentes.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Eric Fuentes.
That's the funniest thing ever, man. I appreciate that guy in that call. Yeah, he's brought a lot of happiness to my life.
Man, I mean, hey, you know what? Wherever
A lot of joy.
wherever Victor Fuentes is at, man, hopefully he's in a good place. I know a lot of people get a kick out of that call, so hopefully he's living a better life now.
Yeah,
opposed to being drunk and falling down, stumbling down the stairs and calling 911.
Yeah. Oh man, shout out Victor Fuentes.
So I got a question here from Rosa, and Rosa's asking if we're gonna be on TikTok. I probably won't be back on TikTok until Monday, so it'll be a few more days. And then hey Nando, I appreciate you tapping into the chat, and welcome. We got 3 people that are tapping in. We got Rosa, we got Nando, and we also got Mr. Angel Gaming coming in from the 805.
Right. 805.
Hey man, you know what? I remember when the 805, it was a lot. The area code covered a lot more. I remember when I was up in camp. When I was in camp, what was it? Camp Scudder, which is in Saugus, which is
Saugus.
Yeah, Saugus, which would be next to Magic Mountain, Santa
Yep.
Clarita. Or
Yep.
I'm not sure. Is Magic Mountain in Saugus or Santa Clarita? I'm not sure. I don't recall.
Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita. Okay.
Santa Clarita, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I remember when that area used to be 805, and then ended up getting taken over by the 661. Back, I think this happened like in 97, 98 in time frame. I'm not sure if you remember when they started coming up with those a bunch of new area codes, 626, 562.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those area codes
Yeah.
didn't exist back in the late 90s. But they're running out of area codes.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. You know what? Earlier on, I was sharing with you. The first time I went to El Salvador back in 2017, man, which doesn't even seem like, that far away. And you had mentioned to me that you had been to Salvador, but back in the early 2000s. What year was the first time that you went back? To your home. Do you consider that your homeland or your parents' homeland?
I mean, I would say, being that I was sent over there back in '89 when I was like 2 years old, I would say that'd be my homeland. I was born here, but I consider that home. That's where I feel at home, being there. So, yeah, last time I was there was '89 to '91, and then I went back over there in the end of 2003 to 2004 for the fiestas navideñas.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, hey, you know what? And it seems like they be having all kinds of fiestas. They have the fiestas in agosto, the fiestas in febrero. I don't know the names of them. I just know it's by temporada.
Yeah.
But it just seems like there's always a fiesta going on, and
Fiesta, yeah, all kinds of fiestas. Give us a reason.
Man, but my lady has his cousin that it seems like he's flying out there like 3-4 times a year because there's always a different fiesta going on. I'm like, man, shit, I want to do it like that. But the lifestyle out there is different.
Very much different.
It's more, well, now it's more laid back. It like hanging out in a hamaca, swinging around. You're drinking some agua out of a coco, agua de coco from an actual coco. Yeah.
From the coco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Man. You're cracking that thing open once it's done. Eating the coco. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. getting that cuchara and scraping it out.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And these are not the cocos we're used to. These are like the big cocos with that green like outer shell. Because out here, we're just used to the little round brown coco, but in actuality, it's in like encased. It's in a suitcase, if you will.
Yep.
And you got to take all of that off, to get into a.
Yeah, you got to peel that.
Yep. My lady's always telling me that she has this uncle out there. That he could crack a coco with his bare hands. I'm like, I don't know, I don't believe it. Those things are pretty. They're pretty tough.
Hell yeah, them things is hard as hell. You could do that, damn.
Be breaking through brick. Esos son manos
yeah, you
de.
got some big ass hands. Yeah. For real.
Let me ask you, Eric, man, can you share some of those memories, of you being out there, and how often do you think about that? Is there any type of music that that brings those memories back to you?
Yeah, man. Cumbias for one. La Sonora Dinamita be taking me back over there. ASAP. But man, no.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
aside from like them good memories, like them good times of like being at those fiestas, and they'll be having like the orquesta playing music and cumbias, and like people are dancing and things like that. I think one of the biggest memories that stayed with me, being over there, right? Because that the country, it was, I don't even know what it's considered now, but at one point it was considered a third world country. It's very, very impoverished over there, very poor, right? And so one of the biggest things that stayed with me when I went over there was, because over there's like dirt roads, next to mountains. There's like I don't know how many, it's like 20 something volcanoes over there, right? And it's very small. It's a very small country, and I remember freaking seeing the kids, and like in the vecindades, like in the villages and stuff like that, and they're just out there running around barefooted, little, no shirt, just freaking chasing a carton or something, playing with like like something very insignificant, but man, did they look happy, bro. Like they look like genuinely joyful and happy and like just appreciating life. And I'm just like, wow, like, over here it takes us, or, I would think, I'm speaking for myself, just not to generalize, but like, it takes a lot to like lift up my mood or to make me happy, and to see that just like the smallest things over there, like just enjoying the weather, being outside, running around barefooted, enjoying that and having fun with it, and just like appreciating that. It was like, wow, it spoke volumes, as to like how much people appreciated life over there, the simple things, the little things, And so I was just like, damn, seeing these kids all happy like that, and then they'll come up to you and they'll be like, hey, tiene un cinco. They'll ask you for like a nickel,
Yeah.
And it's like a nickel, and it's like, yeah, here you go, for some candy or whatever. And yeah, man, that was like one of the biggest things that stayed with me over there. Like, damn, how they appreciate the simple things in life, and yeah, and so it's like it reminds me to be grateful of the small things, and allow those things to bring joy into my life and make me feel good, by noticing the little things,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like one of the things.
I was gonna say right now. So we went back to El Salvador back in I think was it like we went with we've been numerous times in the last few years, but I think like 2 years ago we went, and my wife's family, they're from a place called Chalatelango, which is maybe like, okay, I would say like it's like maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours from the La Capital, which would be San Salvador, and
right.
And before we left, we packed up like gifts and stuff, like shoes, shirts, shorts, and then we took some coloring books, crayons, and whatnot. And the family members that we went to visit over there, there was a little girl, and I told my little lady, give her a coloring book with crayons. Man, that little girl was so happy with that little coloring book.
Man, exactly. Exactly, man. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. Like, I like everything that I took, I left over there, and they were so appreciative. All my cousins and like family members, like they're even asking me like, hey, like who you gonna give those shoes to? Like they're yours. Like don't even trip. Like I'll leave in some chanclas, like you didn't trip.
Yeah, but but it's different because the family members that we took the stuff to and that they live in the city, they looked at esta mierda que es. ¿Para qué quiero esta mierda? Quiero un teléfono, quiero un Samsung, un iPhone.
Oh yeah. Those are the bougie family members over there. You know, those are the bougie ones. You know, like, oh hell no, I ain't gonna leave you nothing.
Yeah. And I told my lady, man, le damos una bolsa de mierda esos huepullas que quieren un iPhone. ¿Qué piensas que somos de dinero? Like, but it's funny, man. It's funny. You know.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But yeah, and it just, you know, based on, you know, where you live at, you know, it's gonna different things are gonna make different people you know, make them happy. Like you were mentioning a little bit earlier on that you know, sometimes when you're down and I'm not exactly sure what words you use, but it takes a little bit more, you know, just to get you you know, bring up your spirits.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Man, I'm glad you shared that little story right there where, you know, the kids kicking that little can around, or you know what, even like yeah. I'm sure like giving them like some marbles or like or a topo, man, they'll be sharing those, you know, guarding those marbles like it's like $1 million.
Yeah, man, I love trompos too, and las canicas. Hell yeah, all that.
The canicas, that's right. Mm-hmm. Canicas, man, I used to love playing canicas or marbles when I was a kid. And you know, and we have a few other people tapping in. And we got LA Analyst tapping in, and she says, James checking in. Cumbias are always a party starter.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. No.
Man,
yeah. Get you moving.
Man, I wish I could move, man, but I got 2 left legs, man. But you know, it doesn't stop me from enjoying the music when I hear it.
At least try now.
Yeah. Hey, get that pilsner on me, and I'll be good to go. Like 3-4 of them, and vámonos. Dude. Hey, you remember that, right?
Not the pilsners. Dang. Yeah, that's like the Coronas of El Salvador right there.
Yeah.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
La Pilsners.
Yeah, I can't even say it like that. I wish I try, but my Spanish is not very good looking. You know, I try to do it, but it's hard. it ain't easy.
It's all right. I understood. You know, you think. Great, I got it as soon as you said it.
You know, I'll be right now because, you know, lately I've been practicing. I'll sit there and I'll tell my lady, mira vos, voy a practicar mi español para El Salvador, para que sí, but I can't, you know, like you could tell that I'm faking the funk.
Oh man, you know who impresses me all the time when they try to.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
My girl, man, she's like honorary Salvadorian because she be picking that up like nothing. I've been.
All right. So we got cut off right now. He should be calling back. But my lady, you know, she's pretty decent herself. You know, whenever sometimes, you know, she'll call the pupuseria and I'll be like, hey, háblales como que eres salvadoreña. And she could do it, you know, she could pull it off. And she's funny because I remember this one time we went to Puerto Rico on vacation, and I don't know where we were at. I think we were like at the hotel, and like I think we were washing, and a Puerto Rican lady came up to her, and I think she asked her like, hey, like if the laundry machine was working, and my lady told her, esto no sirve, and then she walked away really quick before the lady started trying to have a conversation with her, because she was gonna blow her cover that she really wasn't Puerto Rican.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
ERICK Fuentes.
Un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Sentinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Bueno. Hello.
Bueno.
Hey, so we got a comment out here from Khalifa Boy. He writes, "What up, homie?
Okay.
Keep your head up." In
that's
there.
for sure. Got to. Yeah, man, absolutely. You know, there ain't no other way.
Hey, so right now,
Thank you for that.
Yeah, oh man, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right now, before the call got cut off, you're speaking about your wife, saying that she was an honorary Salvadorian.
Honorary, yeah. Honorary Salvadorian, yeah, man, yeah. She be practicing the lingo too, and she'd be hitting me with stuff, and I'd be like, what? I'd be like, where'd you learn that at? You know? So we just be cracking up, you know. She's like, man, I love the language, and we hope to visit over there someday as well, you know. For the first time for her, because she's from Mexico, you know. But
yeah,
she loves the culture as well, and so man, I can't wait to be able to share that experience with her too.
Man, you know, I like watching. Like I'll watch like either YouTube or I'll watch like Spanish like Salvadorian shows, or or them speaking like on the news, and then I'll be picking up the words, and then I'll see my lady, and I'll be like, hey, sin embargo, pues mire, fíjese señorita que pues sin embargo, pues no mire que de dónde venía el señor, me dio un gran cachimbazo y me mandó para allá.
Oh hell yeah, yup, that's it right there. Oh yeah, for sure.
Mire, señorita, no, es que no lo mire, el señor, no, hombre. My lady be like, she'd be like, man, you sound like a Mexican trying to talk like you're Salvadorian. I'm like, man, I'm trying, you know, I'm really trying, but it's hard, it's not easy.
No, there's like a little, there's just like a little hint right there, you know, like it's just like that's got to come out, you know. But yeah, my lady, she'd be testing me too. She'd be coming up with words, asking me if I know what they mean and all that. I'd be like, damn, I didn't know that one. You know, I'd be getting caught. Like, shoot.
Yeah, you know what? And there's a lot of words that I don't know, like in Spanish, you know, like I'm used to like, you know, Spanglish, you know, like substituting, you know, English words, or like like one time, because I used to work in a pharmacy, and then this Salvadorian family came in and they were asking me for hisopos, and I was like, ¿Qué es un hisopo? Yo no sé qué es hisopo. And then she was like, las cosas que para limpiarte los oídos. I was like, oh, los Q-tips se llaman hisopo.
Hisopo, mira.
I was like, ¿y qué? I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm used to like Q-tips. My mom calls it Q-tips, and that's what I call it. Yeah. I always thought it was Q-tips in Spanish too, but apparently not.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know that one either. That's a new one for me too. I'm put that in my vocabulary chest.
Yeah, you know what? You want to throw somebody? Yeah, you want to throw them off, and they be like, "What? Hisopo." Another one too.
Yeah.
You know, because in Spanish, you know, depending on what country you come from or where your people come from, we use different verbiage. Like one of them is pajilla. All right, and then pajilla. Salvadorians call it's pajilla, right? Salvadorians we call it. I think we do. And then there's popote. Oh no, do we call it popote? I don't know. It's one of the others.
Oh, sí, la pajilla.
Okay, we call it pajilla, right?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I get confused.
The straw.
The straw, yeah. And then in Puerto Rico, they don't call it either of them. In Puerto Rico, they call it a solbeto.
Oh wow. Okay, eso sí no. I don't know that one.
Yeah. So so it's a trip, you know. We all speak Spanish, but we all use like different lingos.
For sure.
And then whenever I you know, like sometimes when I went out there, we went to pick up oh man, like, so out there, like, birth certificates le dicen partidas de nacimiento.
Yeah,
And then I think in other places they call it certificado de nacimiento.
Okay.
You know, so stuff like that always throws me off. So I'm always trying to expand my vocabulary in Spanish.
In Salvadorian.
Hey, so Rosa writes, you know, so you know how we were talking about those los Q-tips. She writes in Spanish is cotones, something like that.
Shoot.
Yeah.
The cute.
A Q-tip, yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, it's hard to keep track. You know, my vocabulary in Spanish it's very limited. But hey, if I'm on the street and I need to get from point A to point B, I could communicate like that. But if you throw me like an office setting, I'm always like, ¿qué dijo? No entiendo. Mire, fíjese que soy de los Estados Unidos y no sé. And then they'll just start laughing like this fool.
Hey, you know they got that that app. They got those apps on the phones now too, where they translate and stuff. They were just telling me about that the other day at work. But I could just imagine one created for like Salvadorian talk, how that one would sound. You know, you say something in Spanish like regular.
Mire.
¿Dónde está? Ajá. Yeah.
Mire, váyase para allá y va a hacer un left Asian. Y se va para allá y pase 3 perros, pase 3 chuchos. Y después se hace una left Asian. Chuchos.
Va a encontrar unos cuantos chuchos por allá y después ahí, cuando mire esa casita verde, quiero que le haga una derecha a llegar al pollo campero y de ahí lo va a encontrar.
That's funny, yeah, that we use landmarks, you know, instead of using addresses, because addresses, like, if somebody gives you an address out there, good luck. But if they give you a location, then that's how you're gonna get there. Like, addresses are they're no good out there. You gotta give me some landmarks.
Landmarks.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. You need the landmarks, man. Hey, you know what?
Exactly.
Let me ask you. So you know, talking about, you know, El Salvador, man, it just seems like it puts a smile on your face, because you know this was you know, before you got into your whole journey, you know, into you know, the halls and you know, county jail and ultimately state prison. So those are probably the most pure thoughts or memories that you have from this
right,
from life, you know, from your life.
Yeah, for sure. The ones, man, and I'm so grateful for my mother as well. Rest in peace. That she was able, that she you know, she made that trip happen, and she decided to take me with her, and we were able to spend that over there. And so that's another one of the things that I do hold on to as well, was experiencing life with her over there, with her parents, and you know, the family over there, that they've, like, my grandparents, they never been outside of El Salvador, you know. They never left, they never, you know, came anywhere. So it was so beautiful to experience that with her, you know, my mom and her parents and my aunts and cousins and things like that. So yeah, it was real beautiful, you know, to go out with my mom to the beach and to the fiestas and having, you know, bailando con ella, people así, you know, like it was nice. So I cherish those memories because of that as well.
And let me ask you, you know, I know you mentioned previously that your mom passed away. You know, when she was here, did she ever share her journey, what it was like, you know, coming from there to the U.S. and what were some of the reasons she left? Because back in the 80s, you know, from what I recall, you know, my mom, she told me they ended up leaving because it was getting crazy out there. The political climate was all bad. They were forcing people to join the military, and if you didn't want to join up, you were gonna be taking a dirt nap. And things of that nature were happening. Did your mom ever share her journey or any of the reasons why she left?
Man, you know what? I wish she would have, man. But if I told you she did, I'd just be making it up. I'd be making the whole story up and stuff like that. But you know, because I would have loved to have known and been able to share that with you guys. But nah, she never really touched on things like that, and she kind of like left the past in the past. You know, she was very present. Yeah. And so she like really didn't touch on too much like that. And even when I would in here ask her about like our roots and like our culture and things like that, she wouldn't really really go too much into it like that. You know, creo que I think she when she got her citizenship, she was American, you know. So I think that you know, so I think you know, so she was just like not like too much into like the history and things like that. But I ended up having her Wikipedia me the history of El Salvador to me at one point because I wasn't getting no answers from her. But yeah, she just, I don't know, maybe there was just too dark for her to kind of like revisit, so she kind of like just put it in the past because I know that it was ugly out there during the times that she left, because I think she came over here like in the early, if not.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
If not late 70s, early 80s. And I know that it wasn't like I know that they ended up in Texas when they got here, because my older brother, he's a Texan. He was born in Texas. Yeah. And then I was born in California, so I'm sure it was a journey, you know. It was a journey for them. You know, you hear about like La Bestia and riding on that train, you know, crossing like you know, 3 borders, like Los Tigres del Norte got that song Tres Veces Mojado, you know, because you're crossing so many borders to get over here. So yeah, I'm sure it was a rough journey, you know.
Yeah, definitely treacherous. A treacherous journey. Man, good thing they didn't stay in Texas, man, because Texas, you would ended up busted in Texas. It would have not been all bad out there. They don't play around.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think they still got the death penalty over there and things like that.
100%.
Yeah.
And they exercise it. There's no, you're gonna be sitting on there for 30 years, and they fast track it out there.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Yeah, they fast track it for sure.
Yeah, I know. We just got hit with a 60 seconds. If you want to go ahead and call back, and then you know, we'll bring you back to present day. Maybe you could share like you know, some human interaction with anybody, whether it's, you know, other individuals, free staff, you know, correctional officers. Something, maybe you could touch on something like that. I'm not sure if something like that comes to mind, but when you call back, then we could get back into your journey.
For sure, absolutely.
All right.
Let me call you back.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so we're currently on the line with Eric Fuentes. And he should be calling us back shortly. These calls, unfortunately, they only last for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, they are cut off, and they need to dial back in. Right now, I'm waiting. I just ordered a new microphone. Don't tell my wife. But I'm waiting on this new microphone so I could go ahead and finish up my my whole setup, so I could start utilizing the phone on the wall. I could go ahead and start taking those calls. And there it is. Eric is back. Here we go.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Eric Fuentes.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello. Yeah.
Yo. Yeah.
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 Man, so we just got I just noticed we got your tocayo in here. We got Eric Martinez in here. Hey, what's up, Eric? Thank you for tapping in. Appreciate the support.
Yep, I appreciate you, man. Tocayiti.
Hey, and that's a new word. That one that's new to me. I've only learned that word in the last maybe few months or so. So I'm trying to utilize it.
And I just wanted to also for those that don't know all the Ericks out there, but I come to find out somebody shared with me another Eric that I think he was like he was like from he was like Scandinavian, I think, like it comes from like over there, right? The name,
yeah,
and I guess it means king like.
Oh, huh? Interesting. That's new. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that.
Yeah. Look it up, man. Yeah, it's from what I was told that that's what it meant. King like, origins and things like that. If you follow it up, yeah.
Damn,
I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, they shared that with me.
So now when I hear Eric, I'm gonna be hearing the song from the Lion King. When they hold up the little Simba.
Oh, Simba. King of the Jungle.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Oh man, how's it going?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
Hey man, I like your sense of humor, Eric. Man, for being where you're at, you're not walking around out there, all super serio, level 4 180 killer.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
cool. You gotta have a sense of humor.
That, man, likewise. You have to. Life is too short.
Hey, when did you start shedding that that facade of I don't even know, did you carry yourself like super serio before?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got pictures of like when I first came in, and I'm like, I got this face, of like, oh yeah, like this guy, he's an angry person, like this guy looks angry, and it just slowly started happening, like once I began to accept who I was inside instead of trying to like cover up, like, and we're talking about like those human experiences, like those humanistic experiences in here, and I think what helped with a lot of that was like these outside organizations that would come in here to visit you and set up these programs for you, and they'll come and they'll freaking shake your hand and you know, treat you like a human and talk to you and like motivate you and tell you all these wonderful things about you, you know, what they appreciate about you. And it's like, oh shoot, like you know, they made you feel safe and cared for and loved. And so like once I started experiencing these things, and I was like AVP, like right, AVP is one of them that comes in and they do a workshop for like 3 days. It's alternatives to violence, and they have like all kinds of activities and things that you do in there, and they just allow you to be yourself, you know. And so it was like through participating in these programs where, you know, you felt comfortable enough to kind of like put your guard down and opening up and like being cool, like just being yourself, and then like other people not judging you and like them being the same as well. That's what kind of helped with like, oh shoot, I could just be myself, you know. And like slowly but surely, like that moved into just being who I was. Like, oh, I don't have to, you know, keep this facade up. Like, you know, like it's all good, you know. Like I'm safe, you know, because for a long time, especially growing up with trauma and you know, abuse in the home and domestic violence, I lived in fear a lot, right? Like that was my thing, fear. I was like, I didn't feel safe anywhere. I didn't feel comfortable with you know, I was quiet. I was quiet, very guarded. Couldn't really share too much because I didn't trust and things like that. So I think it came with like healing from that trauma as well, where, you know, I was able to start feeling safe to be myself and not feel like somebody was out to get me, or like, you know, feeling in fear. So I think through these interactions with different people within these organizations like JRGI, ARC, AVP, you name it, like that would come in here and embrace us, like that began to start helping me shed, you know, that wall, that super serio, like that's what kind of started helping me. Like, okay, and, you know, like I'm all right being myself, you know, I'm safe. So I think that was one of the things that kind of helped. When did that happen? It was like everything else, you know, it was a process. It didn't happen from one day to the other. But it was these little things, like little experiences, like when I first met, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure you've heard of him. He's a huge advocate for restorative justice, prison reform, and you know, the incarcerated population, Scott Budnick. When I met him for the first time, I was on level 4180, and I guess they couldn't find me, and he had heard that I was sharing, you know, his organization and the message, you know, with that because when they showed up there, they were having people show up to the gym for like a whatchamacallit, like a presentation, to bring hope to the guys and stuff, you know, especially on these level 4180 yards. There's like very little hope. A lot of people feel hopeless there, and so they were trying to bring in some hope, and they couldn't find me. But I was mentioning to people like, hey, you know, ARC is going to show up, Scott Budnick's going to be here on this date and that, and so people were knowing. And so when they came to try to get me to show up, they couldn't find me because I was at work. And Scott was like, who is this ERICK guy? You know, like, I've been hearing about him. Like, everybody's like, hey, where's where's Fuentes? You know, where's Fuentes? and they were like, who knows? You know, I think he might be at work, and they couldn't find me, and so Scott had heard about me, and he was just adamant to dead set to finding me and getting me to that event. And so finally they figured out I was in the kitchen, and I had messed up because I hadn't turned in my ID, so they didn't even know I was in the kitchen. But they ended up getting me, and they got me to the gym, and he just came up to me, man, and he's just like, Eric, and I'm just like, yeah, what's up? And he's just like, come here, man, and he shook my hand, hugged me, and he's like, man, I've been looking everywhere for you, man. I heard you've been preaching the message like if I was Jesus Christ or something. And I was like, what? And I'm like, man, to us, I mean, you're damn near there, you know, because he does a lot for us, you know. And so yeah, and he hugged me, he shook my hand, called me by my name, and he's like, yeah, man, he made me feel important. And then the captain was there as well, and he freaking extended his hand and shook my hand as well. And that was the first time ever I'd ever, you know, been embraced like that, especially by an officer of custody. And so even when the captain shook my hand, I was like, what the hell? And then even Scott Budnick, he's like, you see that? Even the captain shook your hand. I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, I couldn't believe it, you know, like, it was crazy, you know. It never happens, you know, like that was, especially during that time, it was very unheard of, you know. But yeah, it was like I said, like it was those experiences that kind of start putting your guard down, you know, start to feel safe, and not living in fear as much, you know. And so it was, it was just a process.
Let me ask you something. So right now you mentioned that the captain, you know, shook your hand. If you would have been in your old mentality, would you have shooken his hand?
Oh man, that's a great question. I don't even think I would have been at that event, to be honest. So absolutely, yeah. You know what I mean? So absolutely not. Yeah, I just looked at him like, you know, like well, like you know. But I mean, just out of the way that I was raised and things like that, I believe I still would have shook his hand, regardless, you know. But I would have done it with disdain or something, you know, like whatever, you know. But when it did happen, it was no ill intentions or, you know, feeling some kind of way about it. It was like, oh shoot, okay, like, you know, you see me, you know. It's like, wow, all right, I'm feeling seen, and it's not for my negativity or, you know, my destructive behavior. It's for something positive and good. And so that's reinforcement to continue, you know, walking that path, that positive path.
You know what, Eric? I want to share something with you, and it's kind of embarrassing. So, you know, prior to me, you know, starting this journey, like I heard of ARC. I would see ARC on YouTube streams and whatnot, and I'm like, man, like, is ARC, are there, like my mind frame was like, man, ARC is only helping like people that are on GP main lines.
Right.
Because that's all you would see. You would just, like, the videos and whatnot that I would see, it was just them interacting with the main line. And then,
right.
And then, you know, coming to find out, you know, like, this is an organization. They don't care, you know, where you're coming from, whether you're coming from the main line or non-designated yard. But, you know, just thinking about, you know, like a few months ago, I'm thinking, man, these people are just helping the main line, like, because they couldn't possibly be helping the non-designated yards. And a lot of people don't talk about that these organizations are there for everybody. These services are for everybody, not just,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
certain populations, no, regardless of what you're there for, they're there to help you and give you a helping hand, and that comes to and that's for everybody. That's just not for ARC. There's what is it, Homeboy Industries, and a few others that I can't even think of right now. But those are like the major. The major ones, the ones that normally ring bells.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
And people recognize. So the reason I bring that up is just because if there's anybody else out there that was thinking like the way I was thinking, then it's not true. What I was thinking. They're there to help everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. There's even another one too that's kind of like the Central American base. It was Homie Unidos. That's out there too. Another little organization that be trying to help out. But yeah, it's for everybody, man. It's just the thing is that people that are not associated no more, it's like there's still that fear there, of like repercussions and retaliation and things like that. But it's at the end, it's nothing like that. It's like
All right, so the call came to an end. He should be calling us back shortly, and once he does, we'll go ahead and continue. But like I was mentioning earlier on, these organizations are there to help everybody, not just certain a certain part of the prison population. They're there for those that want to utilize it and take advantage of the opportunities that are being given to them. Whether it's here he is.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Eric Fuentes.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
Here we go.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, you know what? So I want to, earlier and I was talking about Q-tips. So it's cotonetes. And thanks, Rosa, for writing it a way that I could read it. It makes a lot of sense. So don't call them Q-tips. Call them cotonetes.
Cotonetes. That's right, Rosa. Thank you. That one's going in the bank too.
There it is, ya sabes. Hisopos and cotonetes, depending. And remember, if you're talking to a Centroamericano, it's going to be hisopo, unless they call them in Guatemala, Honduras, and in Central America differently. It's going to be hisopos. If you're passing by Mexico, it's going to be cotonetes. If you need to take the water out of your ears, ahí está.
All right, then. That'll work.
All right, so I'm going to pull you back, because if not, we're gonna go definitely we're gonna go off course here.
Yeah.
My attention span is not the greatest, but I'm all over the place. I'm having like all kinds of thoughts. I'm reaching over here. But so we were talking about these organizations. Another one is Amity House that I know of.
Amity.
Yeah.
Amity. Absolutely.
So all these
Amity's a great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Amity's a great organization. I just went through training, actually treatment for this education I just took to become an addictions counselor, and that's who I did my treatment process with, was with Amity. Yeah.
And that was when. So you know what? And right now that you bring that the training, can you give us a little more details? Because that training that you took there, you actually had to get transferred out to another prison. You stayed there for a certain amount of time. Then once you were ready, they send you back out, kind of like in the field, right? Kind of.
Yep.
Can you give us some details on that?
Yeah. So so like I said, so I was here for a couple of years. Actually, for like a few years. I was here like 4 years before they offered me the opportunity to become an addictions counselor, right? And so once I decided that I'm willing to take up on the opportunity. They interview you, they screen you, they interview you, and then they'll decide if like, all right, like we'll accept you. And once you're accepted, like they have these hubs, you would say, or I guess headquarters, in other words, right, where they send you, where they have the actual OMCP training site. And so they sent me to Tehachapi, to CCI, California Correctional Institution. It's nearby, like Lancaster, close, about an hour away from Lancaster. And so there they take you through the process of becoming an addictions counselor. But before you can actually get your education, they put you through treatment, like as like a participant that's going through drug treatment and recovery programs. So they run you through that, and some of the treatment programs that they have in here are like Amity's one of them. They have Phoenix House. They have Geo, and I think that there might be one more, but I'm not familiar with it, right? But so yeah, it's like it took me about 20 months to come back. So I left from here in 2021. Yeah, 2021. And then I just came back like 2 months ago, and it took that long to do. But yeah, the process is simple. It's just you go through treatment, and the reason they go through treatment is to become familiar with what you're going to be teaching. However, at the same time, it's allowing you to address some of your issues that you might have overlooked or probably never addressed, and like didn't think that you had. And so you go through like a bunch of different programs. Like you go through Victims Impact, where it teaches you about the impacts of crime on victims. You go through Parenting Inside Out, where it teaches you about developmental stages of a child and being a good parent while incarcerated. Thinking for a Change, where it's about like restructuring the way you think. And all of this is all evidence-based material, education, or curriculum.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It's all cognitive behavioral intervention, CBI, or known as CBT, CBI, cognitive behavioral intervention, or treatment, and so yeah, you go through that process first, and that's like I would say it was like 5 to 6 months. It's an accelerated, and it's what they run here as well, but right here is a little longer. And so you go through that process of addressing your issues, going through the curriculum, really taking it on, and then once you make it through that, they'll put you in the education portion, where they have instructors come from all over the place. Like, man, we had doctors come talk to us about addiction and educating us on addiction and how it works and how it affects the mind, the brain, your bio. We had people will come and teach us like other tools, other skills that they use, like motivational interviewing, pharmacology. You know, it's like a lot, man, but it's like grade A education that they give us, man, and so yeah, you go through that, and eventually once you're done going through all your instructors, and they got great instructors too, like they come from like we have like a couple of instructors come from like Camp Pendleton, you know, and teach us, you know, denial management, motivational interviewing, pharmacology, the therapeutic, being naturally therapeutic, like things like that. Like for a counselor, you know, they really equip you. And once you go through that, through all that education, eventually they give you the exam. You know, they come and test you for the exam, and out there it's backwards. You get your hours first, and then you take the exam. In here, since we don't have, since it's different, we get all our education first. We take our exam, and then we get our hours. And so once I finished with that, and I passed my test and got my graduation, they sent me back to where I came from, which was right here, to work in that field. And so that's pretty much, that's what I do. I work as an addictions counselor, getting my intern hours, getting my full certification, and I gotta get 2,080 intern hours of work experience, and then I'll be fully certified. So that's what I'm working on right now, and man, it's been awesome. You know, it's been amazing. But yeah, that's that program, and they have it's called the OMCP. It's called the Occupational Mentor Certification Program, and they have it. They have a site in Tehachapi. They have one in CMC, San Luis Obispo. I think they have one in Folsom, New Folsom, I think, and Lancaster. Yeah, different places where they send you to go get this training. It's amazing, man. Yeah.
And when you get the certification, is that a certification through the state, or who issues out the certification that you get?
Oh man, that's the amazing part. Like that's the best part about it. That these are actually actual certification boards from the streets. You know, like it's not CDCR. It's like I'm certified through Katie and ACCBC, and that's who gave me my test and who I'm certified by. So like, if you were to go to like ACCBC.org and put in my name and my registration number, my registered addiction counselor number, I would pop up like as a potential addictions counselor. Like, they're pretty much giving you a career, you know, like here, like, you know, we're going to offer you guys something that a lot of you guys probably know about, you know, addiction, and like, see what you can do with it, you know, like, they're like giving us a career, man, you know, like, you can't go wrong with that. To do something good for our lives.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, after spending years and years or decades, you know, focusing on negative, you know, you turn a new leaf, yeah. And you're you know, trying to better yourself and excel. Let me ask you something. So, you know, the connection that we made, or the way I was connected with you was through David. David was the one that connected me to you, David Lopez. And did you know him? Was it David or was it Jesse? No, it was Jesse. Jesse. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Jesse Nava. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So Jesse, did you know Jesse before So you were there. You were in Centinela in 2001. You said, and then you left. So you were there when he was there, then, right?
Yeah, I was here. So I got here in 2017, and then I met him while I was here, and I've known him since. And so I've known him this whole time since he got to this yard.
Oh, okay, so you've seen their transformation then, firsthand.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would say that we helped each other out in making these changes, you know, and I did. Yeah, I was definitely there through his when he was still messing up, to where he made the decision to want to better himself, and I was a part of that journey with him.
Oh man, and you know, and that's what I like about this, because so far everybody that's come on, it's been, you know, because of you guys. You know, you refer me to this person, that person will refer me to you, so that's how we're able to determine, you know, where you're at, or where your mind is at. So, you know, once Jesse connected me with you, you ended up connecting me with Joseph. Did you know him prior?
Joseph, yeah.
Did you know him prior to being with him in the program in Tehachapi, or did you meet him there?
No, I met him there. and we just I got to know him. I got to know his character, his person, you know, just everything about him, and I was like, man, this is a good dude. Like he's on the path, and like genuinely. And
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
We hit it off and became real good friends. And so I met him at the program, and
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And he's been part of my, he's been instrumental in my growth as well.
Man, yeah. It's I really appreciate you guys, doing what you're doing, coming on and sharing yourselves, your journey, and then, sharing other people that you think would be beneficial to sharing their journeys. And I know I was about to hang up.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and call back, and then we'll go ahead. I'm not sure how many more phone calls you could do before you head on out, but we'll take whatever you got. All right. So right now we're gonna go ahead and wait for him to call back, and in doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and try to take a bite of my this breakfast. My wife brought in my breakfast. It's already lunchtime. Hopefully I don't choke because she didn't bring me anything to drink. And now we're just waiting for Eric to call back.
Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
This call is now being recorded.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll probably possibly have like a couple more. Probably do a couple more. Probably like 2 more phone calls. Probably this one and another one. What do you think?
Yeah. we could definitely do that. My apologies. My wife just brought me breakfast, but it's lunchtime, and I was trying to get it in before the car reconnected.
Well, or we could probably just do this one, and you could go ahead and enjoy the breakfast. It's more like brunch, to be honest.
Man, about to be dinner. About to be dinner time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, before we were cut off, oh, there she brought me. Gracias, mi amor. She's brought me a water. She heard me on the live. That's why I said it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's better. So we're talking about you guys helping out and navigate, or helping me directing me to other gentlemen that are on the same journey or similar journeys that you're on, so we could share with the audience, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or wherever,
Yeah.
So when you met Jesse, back in when 2001, or I'm sorry, not 2001, 2018, were you already on the path to change, or did it kind of happen at the same time?
No. During that time, I had already been on this path for like fully committed. About like 2 years or like some change like that. Yeah. So I had already been on it. He just came into the fold, and and he was hungry.
Gracias, Rosa. Rosa told me provecho. Thank you.
Buen provecho.
So do you know Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Jeremy.
Okay.
Hampton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I shared with you, right, that I interviewed him, and I was actually, he hooked me up with going to Camp Gonzalez. He's the one that made that happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's another one right there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, like you guys are definitely, plugging me with everybody, in there and out here. So.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You know what? That day that I went out to LA to meet up with him, man, it was crazy, man. The traffic out in LA, bananas. Because I drove out to man, I drove somewhere up in the valley. I don't remember exactly what city it's in, but man, it took me like
Calabasas.
Oh yeah, Calabasas. Yup.
Yeah.
Traffic going up there and traffic coming back. I think I barely made it back to my flight. I flew in like in the first flight, coming in. I think I landed like at 8, and then I had a flight going back. I think I was leaving like at 4 p.m. or 5, and I was kind of stressing because I was driving back and time was getting short. But the LA traffic, you're definitely just get ready when you come home. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of traffic, a lot of sitting in your car where you're trying to move from point A to point B.
Right. Yeah. I'm already knowing. Yeah, it ain't gonna be no joke.
Hey, so let me ask you. So, because originally when you got sentenced, you were sentenced, I believe, I want to say 170 years.
Yeah, you're right.
And
correct. That is correct.
Man, that's that number, man. Is like, man, you hear that as sentencing? Is like, man, this nobody's gonna live 170 years. It's pretty much a life sentence.
Yeah, it's pretty much a LWOP sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would never have been able to gone to the board of parole hearings. Like my board of parole hearing date is like 2,176, to have the opportunity to get out. It would have been that if it weren't for these laws that have changed and impacted my sentence.
When the judge read that sentence off to you, do you recall what kind of emotions you were going through, or the thoughts that are running through your mind?
Yeah. I remember him just like just blabbing out numbers like 25 to life for this, plus the gang enhancement, plus this. Because it didn't just like, they didn't like just tell me, he didn't just like tell me like, I'm going to sentence to 170 years. No, it was like, fine, guilty for, for count 1, murder, get sentenced to 25 years to life, plus 25 for the gun, and 10 for the gun enhancement, gang enhancement, and guilty for count 2, attempted murder, 15 to life, plus another 25 for the gang, and then another 10, and all. It was just like I couldn't keep track, to be honest, and I was just like then thinking in my head at the time, back then, like this is ridiculous, like dude, why are you wasting your breath? Like there's no way. Like it was to a point where I had to like smile not to cry, because it was just so when it was happening, it just felt ridiculous. Like, are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? Like, really? Like, dude, you could just have sentenced me to 70 years and I wouldn't have made that, or or something like that. But yeah, it was feelings of like disbelief in a way, and but this is given to where my mindset was at back then. Now I totally understand. Like, absolutely. If you ask me now, do you think if I believe my sentence was fair? I absolutely think my sentence was fair. It was actually unfair, because I prefer a sentence to be fair, right? Eye for an eye. So if that wasn't the case for me, I still got to live and breathe, and in comparison to my victims, one of them doesn't have that opportunity, and the others are left with the trauma for a lifetime, So, but during that time, I just thought it was ridiculous. In a way, funny, right? You're thinking like, yeah, like you just gotta like scoff at it, or laugh at it, but that's not the case no more, But yeah, that's what I was feeling during that time, and a sense of hopelessness, and just heaviness on my soul, my body, So yeah, that was it was a lot,
Yeah, man, that's something heavy to carry on your shoulder.
For sure.
Taking somebody's life, and then almost taking some other people's lives. Man, just thinking about it, you like that you did that, like like I can't even wrap that around my head. Just how you deal with it, day in and day out. The trauma that you caused, not only to yourself, to another family, your family. It was just a whole ripple effect that affected a lot of other people, directly or indirectly.
Yeah, for sure. I live with it every day. It never goes away. It's always, it might not be trying to stay in that state, but it's definitely on my mind. Like, it never goes away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from here, it's just growing and trying to make yourself a better person. And the day that you do walk out of there, you're an asset to society.
Of course, absolutely, and yeah, and so I use that as the motivating force to give back, to be a better person, to work on myself, to change, my whole, to continue changing, my entire mentality. Like you said, like earlier, like I would, like seeing me now is like, who is that guy? Is that, like, is that really a gang member? Like, was he, like, that does not look like it. And it's about, like, reinventing myself and just, getting rid of that old person that I was, because that it was who I was. That's what I was a monster. I was a coward. It was I was callous. And so it's like trying to be mindful of these things and work towards being compassionate, empathetic, loving, caring, kind, generous, like just changing it around, doing a 180, and so that's what drives me, after all that taking, now I have forfeited my life to live in a life of service because of my actions. It's the least I can do because nothing I can ever do will ever change, what I had done, my actions.
Yeah.
And so, and that ripple effect that you're talking about, it's ongoing, and so it's like, now it's like, let's have a opposite ripple effect,
And we're getting short on the call. We got about about 2 minutes left before we get cut off. Do you want to take this opportunity and just share a message with our audience, whatever whatever you want to throw out there?
Man, I guess I would say that I'm not allowing that moment, to define who I am today, and it all